back. This is Boomer Life on CIL 650.
Boy, I think the leaves are turning color, and we got autumn changes in the music department. My gosh, Dwayne Bishop, our producer, is on the ball this morning. It's Boomer Life here on CIL 650. Sterling Fox with you, joined in studio by Jillian Fullerton from Shannon Oaks in Vancouver and in Victoria. And Jillian, we've talked about it. We talked about a few minutes ago about a downsizing seminar coming up at Shannon Oaks, Vancouver next Wednesday. This references, and you're the person who does a lot of home visits, trying to connect people from their current dwelling to the reality of life at Shannon Oaks. And a lot of people, I'll tell you, they get their backs up, and it's all about the stuff, and the downsizing seminars are extremely helpful, but not everyone is even amenable to those. And you paid a visit to a gentleman in Vancouver recently.
I did, Sterling. He came for lunch. He came for a tour, and I had lunch with him, showed him around. He loved the place. He loved Shannon Oaks. Then he sort of looked at me rather sadly, and he said, you've really got to come to my house and understand why I'm finding it so tough to move.
Okay.
So tough. So I said, sure, I'd love to. So I dropped around to his place one afternoon. I was astounded. His home, beautiful home, was a museum piece. This man loves antiquities. He loves British history, European history. He's an artist. He has collectibles from around the world. He has works of art that are lovely, but he has collections of books going back prior Charles I.
Oh, my.
I mean, and they're all he's built beautiful bookcases, and they're all illustrated. The house was immaculate. It was a museum. It had just muskets and also, it was a historic museum. It was just absolutely wonderful. And then, of course, there was his art gallery, his art, where he does all his painting. I understood. He said.
So he came out to Shannon Oaks and loved it, but he said, "You've got to come to my house and understand why I'm wavering here."
He said, "Nobody really appreciates this. No, there's no, value. These are like my children. He doesn't have children. These are like. I've grown up. He had a wife, and she got very ill. He looked after her for years, and she'd passed away. The man was a lovely man, very smart, but he was just so lonely. When I left, I sort of looked at him. I gave him a big hug. And he said, I need hugs. I miss them so much.
I'll bet.
It just broke my heart.
Sure.
But he was chained to his home because of these things. Because
of a lifetime of work, right?
Exactly.
That he couldn't reconcile just letting go of.
He's a beautiful man, and I just know it's these people don't want those things. They're not of value to other people.
Right.
And they're a personal value to him.
Sure.
A tremendous, they represent a lot to him. And so it's a hard decision. He wants to move, but he can't take that step. So any of us, let's not get chained by our possessions.
Right.
And it stops you from living.
But in this fellow's case now, you put the bug in his ear. He's been out to to Shannon Oaks. He knows what it's like. He knows how smiling, happy people get along with each other so well. He knows all of that. So now that even though he's suffering through this, I just can't walk away from all of this. I'll bet you he can. I'll bet you it's just going to take a few months working on it, because that hug may have been the deal breaker right there.
Well, he just to have contact with people, contact with caring people, and he will certainly get lots of hugs at Shannon Oaks.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's something that's so.
So again, this is why the downsizing seminar is so important, and I recognize that there are some people who simply cannot abandon their word, their stuff.
Yeah.
But most of us can.
Yeah.
And so we just have to learn how to do it properly, so we don't give away the stuff that's critically important to us. We just give away stuff we don't need anymore.
Exactly. And the big dining room table, we had all those family dinners.
Yeah.
Take a picture of it.
That's right.
Have a picture of a family gathering and remember it that way. You don't need to cart it on your back. and bring it to Shannon Oaks. You can be free of it and still enjoy it.
We promised at the beginning of the program we were going to try and stick a pin in a few myth bubbles. And Jillian, we don't have a lot of time here, but let's see if we can attack a couple of them. And I guess the most obvious, particularly the story that you just told us about the fellow with the museum home. My current home will be the best place to live in retirement. Is that myth number one or not?
I would think it's a definite myth. People spend so much time in their home doing housework, shopping, so much more so than anyone in a retirement community.
Right.
They spend far less time socializing and engaging in activities that will broaden their mind, that will help them learn, because they are so tied to the home doing those essentials. But they do the chores.
But I was just going to say, it's the chores. It's the doing of the chores every day that keeps the wheels turning. That's what they tell themselves.
Yes, that's
so,
right.
You
but
know,
there's other ways the wheels can go.
No kidding. So that is a myth. All right. How about this one? Home is less expensive.
Oh, not at all. You may not have a mortgage. You may have paid that off.
Sure, lots of seniors have done that.
Yes, that's right. But look at your taxes. Look at your utilities. Look at the upkeep. Look at the insurance. And then you put in food, entertainment, your all of those kinds of things. You're adding the money, the expenses up. You're compare them. We have a comparison sheet I can give people if they come to Shannon Oaks, what they're currently paying and what is covered in Shannon Oaks.
Right.
So any monthly rate we give you, there's no taxes involved. It's a straight rate, what it is.
But I think the most important part of that is in September 2015, nobody lives for free.
No, of course not.
And even though you don't have a mortgage, as you say, it still costs. And if you sit down and itemize, do the old the in and outs of the money, I mean, you are spending. I mean, cable, for crying out loud, is $200 a month.
I know.
So I mean, nobody lives in an economic
and cable's
vacuum.
included at Shannon Oaks.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, bonus. And how about this last one? We don't have a lot of time for this one. Retirement centers are full of people who are sick and dying. It's a depressing place to be.
Come and see Shannon Oaks. That's all I have to say to that one. Come and see. Well, like the story I told of people doing a tour and people exercising, smiling. Everybody's smiling here.
Right.
That's because they're happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's because they enjoy the interaction with like-minded people. They're sharing meals together. They're doing activities. They're going on bus trips. We're going up to the thing up at Squamish.
The Sea to Sky gondola.
Yes, we're taking a group up there.
That is a wonderful thing to go see.
I mean, there's all sorts of things like that we do.
And this afternoon, I know that some of the gang are heading over to the Bonsor Fall Fair at the Burnaby Bonsor Community Center.
That's right, yeah.
So all sorts of activities.
So
Nobody's
keeps you young and happy.
Been put away anywhere.
No, not at all.
All right.
Not at all.
We're fresh out of time. Just enough left to remind you about the website, ShannonOaks.com. If you're on Vancouver Island and you want to talk about or look at Oak Bay, just click on Victoria. Otherwise, Shannon Oaks, Vancouver, and it'll get you the address, all the phone numbers. We gave them a couple of times, perhaps a little too quickly. It's all at ShannonOaks.com, including Jillian's name and email contacts as well.
Good.
And don't forget that downsizing seminar next Wednesday, 11:30, followed by lunch. And call in advance just to make sure that you'll have a spot saved for you, 604-324-6257. Jillian Fullerton, always a pleasure.
Great to be here, Sterling. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next time on Boomer Life.